Hello, my name's Steve. I'm based in Scotland. I don't really know what else to say about myself. This is a bit of a rundown on the differences between the new mono M80 Classic Ultra, the standard electric case, and the Gruv Gear Kapsule electric case, which I've had now. I've actually had two over the past couple of years, but we'll get to that. Before we go too far, the usual disclaimer: I've got no affiliations with anyone. I've not been sent anything for free. I've paid for both of these cases out of my own pocket, and they both, to be fair, cost quite a bit of money, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this video. I've been looking for a bit of a rundown and a bit more detail on the mono case. They're obviously pretty new. From what I could see, they're quite hard to get in the UK. I've actually managed to get a hold of one, again at full price. But these two cases, to me, seem quite comparable. They're roughly about the same amount of money. They sort of seem like they're aimed at the same sort of thing for flying. They've both got little kind of clip-on wheels. So here we go. If it helps you, happy days, because I looked for this stuff. I couldn't find it. I've taken a bit of a punt on the mono case, so we'll see. Here's the grumpy Scotsman's view on guitar cases. So let's do the sort of small stuff first. Currently, well, today I paid, I think it was £309 for the mono case. The Kapsule, currently, the best price I can get without getting it shipped from Germany, from Tommen, is £319. So there's not a vast amount of difference. The one thing which I had to get to sort of make up the lack of space, or the slight difference in space between the mono and the Kapsule, was the mono tick, which I think was £85. So give or take, they're a good between 300 and 400 quid each for these cases. They're not exactly cheap, so you'd want them to stand up to some abuse, right? I see a lot of people, and I see a lot of reviews. I got sent this thing by this company. It's great. I use it twice a week and it's lasted me for 6 years. That's fine. However, like I said at the start, I've never been sent anything to test. To be fair, I've never asked. But that's fine if they last, for me personally. Maybe I'm a bit old school. Stuff these days doesn't seem fixable as much as it was before. I play gigs 6 nights a week. I'm pretty busy. I'm really lucky to be that busy. So the stuff does get used. It does not, however, get abused. I look after the stuff. I'm pretty experienced. I'm a backline tech when I'm not gigging. I know how to look after equipment. I've not really done any fly shows with any of this stuff. It's essentially just been in and out of the back of my car. To be fair, I've not used the wheels. I do carry stuff on my back. That's just my preference. I don't feel like it is particularly overloaded. I play an Acoustasonic Fender Telecaster. It's actually a pretty light guitar. That's the main guitar that's been carried around in this case the whole time, and will be for the mono case. So it's pretty light. On top of that, it's just like power, an iPad holder, a mic, some spare strings, usual stuff that you'd see a gigging musician carry around. So I don't feel like I'm overloading the cases based on what they're sort of advertised that they carry. For instance, the Gruv Gear case gets advertised to have a bass head in the bass one, or there's a double version or whatever. To me, that's a hell of a lot more weight. Even just with, say, like a normal Stratocaster or a Telecaster instead of the Acoustasonic, it would already be so much more weight. But we'll get to why that is in a second. Quickly again with the small stuff, the differences are they both come with wheels. These are the mono ones. I think that's in focus. They sort of strap on with Velcro. I've not actually tried it yet. And these are the Gruv Gear ones. They're a bit more like skateboard wheels, and they sort of clip on with this little thing. So take of that what you will. I've not used them. Again, I'd imagine if you're going through an airport, probably pretty handy, but most of the time, because of the other stuff I need to carry, the cases are on my back. So let's get to it, shall we? So this is the Gruv Gear. As I say, I've had this for about a year. Full disclosure, this one was a warranty replacement, because the first one, the backpack straps started sort of fraying after about 6 months. Part of the reason why I've had to get the mono is because actually the same thing has started to happen again. So I need to get back in touch with Gruv Gear and see what they say. Again, I do use it pretty much every day. To me, for a 400 quid, or the best part of a £300-400 guitar case, you should be able to use it every day. And I don't know, maybe, tell me if I'm wrong, should I get more of a year out of something? I don't know. Yeah, so that's kind of it's not all the way gone yet, but when that failed the last time, it really felt like the strap was going to sort of go. However, negatives aside, it is a pretty solid case. The wheels clip on down here, if that's your thing. I'll give you a quick look in this big bit here. The one thing again that actually, when I was changing the stuff over earlier, usually I just sort of top load this case so it'll stand up on its end and I'll sling the guitar in and out of here. I did notice earlier that this other internal pocket, the zip's actually gone on that as well. It is zipped, but the zip's burst, so it's kind of stuck on this corner. So I mean, I've not had that open for, I've never had this case the whole way open actually, so I'm not really sure what the hell's happened here, but there we go. So otherwise though, it is a decent case. Maybe I've just had bad luck with them, I'm not too sure. This really is the thing with this case. This is awesome. The storage inside is awesome. These pockets are gigantic, which again begs the question: if they put huge pockets in something, how much weight is it supposed to hold? Maybe it's just, I mean, again, maybe it's aimed more to be wheeled around, but there's backpack straps on it. You'd expect the backpack straps to be pretty heavy duty. Maybe backpack straps are an afterthought these days. I don't know. Maybe I should be more lazy and not carry stuff around on my back. But yeah, I love this case. I'm actually quite sad that it's broken again, because yeah, it's pretty chunky and it gets a lot of looks as well, which is kind of nice. I don't know, but yeah. So there we go. All in all, I would say if the straps for me were a bit more beefed up, I would say it would be pretty indestructible. I've not flown with it, like I say, it's just been in and out of the back of a car. I think you can tell, I mean, I put that tape on when I first got it to sort of stop it from getting too scratched up. It's not really that bad, I don't think. You can tell it's kind of been looked after. There's a couple of scratches here and there, but it's definitely not been bashed around too heavy. So if you're going to be flying it and running it around on wheels, I would say you're probably sweet. I don't know, make that decision for yourself. Moving on, this has still got the tags on it. This is the new one, this is the Ultra. I say it's got the tick on the front, just to make up for that bit of space that I feel like I'm sort of losing between here and between this case and the other one. This is the 2.0, I think, the little accessory pack. It's pretty good. In there it's an 11-inch iPad Pro, a mic, a couple of inline DIs, a power bank, my in-ears. Enough for the sort of day-to-day stuff that I'm going to need all the time. In this top pocket here, part of the thing was I couldn't see inside these things, so I really want to try and show you inside these pockets to give you a proper look. It's not huge. I've got, what's in there, can you see? What's the lighting like? There we go. So I've got a couple of capos, a multi-tool, and a couple of pens and a string winder. Part of the thing, I guess, and I've seen this mentioned in other videos, it's quite tight at the bottom because it shuts like a clamshell. So I think as soon as you sort of put anything in the bottom, you then get a bit of a bulge. So it's pretty, I don't know, it's a big enough pocket, I don't know, it's not massive. And this is the sort of, let me get rid of this. So that's pretty easy to take off, to be fair. So this is the slightly bigger pocket at the front. Now, it shows you, it doesn't actually show you online. This unzips, which expands the whole thing by, I don't know, about an inch. So it does make it pretty deep, to be fair, on the bottom, which sort of solves the problem which the top pocket has. I actually thought this bit had an extra pocket on the front. It doesn't, it's just one big pocket. So I've got strap towel, one of these little iPad holder guys, a power strip, and a couple of sets of strings. So I don't have a huge amount of stuff in here yet, but let me see if I can show you what this looks like in here. Probably not. particularly well, but it's quite similar to the old one. So there's a bit of a laptop sleeve here, there's a couple of little pockets here, sort of cable management, and a kind of zipped see-through mesh pocket thing. So, oh, that's my light. So it's decent, it's pretty big. It's not, I mean, well, it is, to be fair. If you've ever had a flyby backpack, it's reminiscent of the inside of that, I think, but just not quite as deep. At the bottom, it's maybe about yay deep at the bottom with the extender thing open. Yeah, again, it feels pretty sturdy, to be fair. The ballistic nylon stuff does feel a bit nicer, in my opinion, than the, what was it they called it? Shark skin, the old stuff. Years ago I had a flyby backpack and a cymbal bag by Mono, both of which broke. Take that as you will. Again, I'm not sort of trying to slate people, I'm just being honest. The strap came off the cymbal bag and one of the zips broke on the flyby, which I don't think were covered under the warranty at the time. Whether that's changed, I don't know. It's got a limited lifetime warranty. I need to have a dig and really see what that actually covers. Let me show you the inside of this. To be fair, the one thing I was worried about with this is the sort of flexibility. It is pretty heavy going, to be fair. It's pretty sturdy, feels pretty. That ABS sort of ridge around the outside does feel pretty chunky. And inside here, the Acoustasonic in that headlock system thing, so you sort of take the Velcro off, and that feels pretty sturdy. The first thought that I had was, I wonder how long the Velcro will last. We're getting taken in and out all the time. I don't know, we'll see. And it's pretty chunky, it's sort of built up around the edges of the string, what do you call it? Strap button. You can see there, there's sort of like reinforcement. Can you see it? There's sort of reinforcement around the bottom of it, around that strap button. So it's definitely not got as much of a boot on it as the Vertigo, but this supposedly has got a substantially bigger pocket. I mean, I needed that little tick. Maybe you don't. Again, personal preference, I don't know, but I needed sort of a decent amount of storage because I don't really want to have to take an extra backpack. Again, I feel like I'm being fair to the case because the guitar is really light, like noticeably light. I can look at, I'll need to check and see how much it actually weighs, but I don't feel like I'm sort of overloading the case with like loads of sort of super unnecessary stuff. It's pretty bare bones really for gigging as much as I do, so I don't know, time will tell with this one I think. First impressions, I'm pretty chuffed with it. I mean, I would hope to be pretty chuffed for it for the fact that I just paid nearly 400 quid for it. For that and the tick, so time will tell, I guess. But that's the sort of rundown really of this guy, and what I hope is kind of a comparison between the two of them, because I couldn't find much information about this with it being relatively new. I've not really seen many other capsules in the UK. When I was asking around to try and get it in the first place, no one really knew what it was. I feel like they're quite comparable. I guess you can make up your own mind about that. Again, I'm not trying to slate any of these companies, I'm just being honest. I use the stuff every day. To me, it's quite a lot of money. So, I mean, it is quite a lot of money really for what it is. I'm sweating. So, yeah, there you go. I'm not trying to slate these companies, I'm just sort of being honest. I feel like I've got an opportunity, to be honest, because I've paid quite a lot of money, quite a lot of my own money for this stuff. I use it a lot. I do gig a lot. I'm aware that I gig a lot, but I do look after stuff. I really do look after stuff. I'm careful with it. I don't just sort of bin it around and spill drink on it and whatever. It does get looked after. But even my pedal board, I use it so much that stuff does fail. So make up your own mind about it, I guess. If you maybe carry stuff on wheels, if you're flying a bit, again, I don't know what it'd be like, but that seems to be what these cases are sort of aimed at. I do see a lot of mono stuff. The Ultra does seem pretty good. Seems pretty chunky, so time will tell with that. I say I've only had it for about an hour. For the money I paid for the Gruv Gear case, I feel like I should have maybe gotten a bit more of a year out of it, but if you're wheeling it around, maybe it would last forever. I don't know, from my experience, the backpack straps could be doing with a bit of beefing up, and I need to get back in touch with Gruv Gear and see what they say about another potential warranty replacement. So we'll see. I didn't want to make this video too long, so comment, ask me stuff if you want. If I can help, I will. I don't know if I'll do any more reviews, but with the mono M80 being quite, the Ultra at least being quite new, I was looking for a bit more information on it. It does seem pretty good. Time will tell. We'll see. I think the pocket's not huge if you need sort of a bit of extra stuff, but with the option to add on the tick, it does add that extra little bit of give. So there you go. That's my Grumpy Scotsman's 2 cents on stuff. So follow me on Instagram. That's where I am most of the time. Send me a DM if you've got any questions. Yeah, I'm new to this. See you soon.